Dry conditions are still plaguing areas across northwest Ohio and southeast Michigan.
While there is rain in the forecast, Chris says we are currently dealing with a severe drought warning, and that has led to a growing concern for homeowners and people who rely on well water.
Laura Sandlin joins us live. Laura, it sounds like this is a growing concern.
Jeff, Kaylee, it's a scary thought. Imagine being without water for hours, even days, depending on how quickly you can get help. I went down to Bowling Green today and spoke with a local owner and operator at a well drilling company, along with the Wood County EMA. And they tell me that the situation is a lot more dire than people may realize. The Federal Emergency Management Agency announced natural disaster declarations for multiple counties in northwest Ohio. That includes Wood County, where EMA Director Jeff Klein says it's due to the continued drought across the state.
We're down substantially the amount of water that we really should have. And, most of us don't really think of it. We grow up in the city, we live in the city, we turn the faucet on and there's water there.
According to WTOL 11 Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers, the greater Toledo area is currently ranked a 3 out of 5 on the severity level. He says so far, Toledo has gotten just over 3 inches of rain this fall, which is almost 3.5 inches below average. That makes this the second driest autumn in the past 50 years.
Without the rain and the groundwater, they don't fill up, so they start getting low, which really could impact a lot of the drinking water and the water that people use.
And for the past 42 years, James William has been servicing wells to Wood County. He says the main issue is a lack of water in the upper half of the ground. And if the water level drops too low, it can cause problems with quality.
What we see affecting right now is probably the upper zone of what we call surface water. A lot of sand points, which you find Lucas County, Sylvania, Ottawa, some of those areas.
Williams says these sand points are important. And if water levels drop too much, it can lead to contamination, meaning it could take years for that water to return and cause other issues like leaks, which can be expensive to repair.
Average service call just to go out and investigate it based on who's doing it. I suppose it could range from $94 to $225.
Now, Williams encourages you that if you are experiencing problems, to go ahead and give your local well drilling company a call. That way they can send somebody out to go ahead and investigate what's going on. And he says most of the time they usually find a solution without having to re-drill. Reporting live in Perrysburg Township, Laura Sandlin, WTOL 11.
Let's bring Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers back in now.
Chris, talk to us a little bit about putting this into perspective, these numbers we're hearing.
Well, let's talk regionally, okay? It's not just us. We're not alone in this drought. In fact, all of the lower 48 have some degree of drought across the region. So it is Ohio and all neighboring states here in the Great Lakes. The severest of the drought, though, is here in Ohio and West Virginia, where since August we have now been in at least a moderate to severe, or in some instances, an extreme drought across the region. The rainfall deficits have been something that's been noteworthy. Only 3.2 inches of rain so far this entire autumn season. That is about half of what we typically would see. But it really goes beyond this as well. Another statistic that we'll throw out there, it's not just the lack of rainfall, it's the warm weather. How about this for a stat? It has been 1,827 days since our last record low. That happened exactly 5 years ago to the date. And since then, we have had 30 straight record highs. Unbelievable.